Welcome to Module 4 of our Math Assessment for RTI class. Module 4 is all about how to administer CBMs of mathematics. One of the first considerations is that CBMs are considered standardized measures. As such, test administrators need to strictly adhere to the directions and the timelines specified for the CBM probes. Therefore, before we get started in administering, the test administrator needs to have copies of the math probes for the learners, as well as the specific instructions and a stopwatch. So as we proceed, you will need to consider those testing materials. There are a number of considerations that the test administrator needs to take in mind when administering math CBMs. First, one of the bonuses of math CBMs is that they can be individually administered for a particular student, or they can actually be administered to groups of students. As such, it's the administration time and the need for multiple assessors is diminished. Therefore, a particular school district could go class by class and administer CBM probes. So they can be administered to groups or to individuals. The second point is that it's important for those who are doing universal screening of their students to administer 3 different probes and then take the median score from those probes as the most reliable score for screening purposes. If you're administering these to an individual student to establish a trend line, then that first probe on the graph, or the first data point, I'm sorry, should be taken from that median score. Now, I'm gonna change that a little bit for our high school population. For high school students, then we are finding that first math probe is substantially different. The score from that is substantially different from the second and third. Therefore, you would throw out the first probe score and then average the remaining 2. Take the mean between the 2. The third point is it is important to strictly adhere, as I said before, to the directions and the timing guidelines, and that establishes the reliability of the score. You wouldn't want to change the directions from student to student, you wouldn't want to change the directions from class to class, and you wouldn't want to change the directions or the timing from week 1 to week 2. Many CBM probes involve the administration of single skill sets. For example, a first grade teacher might want to only administer single digit addition problems in a timed format. As one aside, however, those that select single skill probes should recognize that single skill probes are not considered general outcome measures. In other words, single skill probes will inform, the scores from single skill probes will inform us as to how well a child is doing in mastering a particular sub-skill like math addition or math facts in a particular area, but are not as predictive of overall math proficiency as multiple skill probes. Okay, in terms of administering the single skill probes, again, you need to adhere strictly to the written directions, and you would say to your group of students or to an individual student, the sheets on your desk are math facts. All of the problems are addition facts. Then you would next say, when I say start, turn your sheet over and begin answering the problems. Start on the problem on the left of the top row. Make sure you point to that on the sheet you have with you. Work across and then go to the next row. If you can't answer the problem, make an X on it and then go to the next one. If you finish one sheet, go to the next sheet. Are there any questions? Answer any questions that may arise. And then once all questions have been asked, you say to the student or students, start. Then you begin timing at the time that you say start, and after 2 minutes on your stopwatch, you stop the stopwatch and you say to the student or students, stop. Now we're going to address the administration directions for multiple skill computation measures, another math CBM. Multiple skill computation measures are quite reliable, as well as they have a great deal of criterion-related validity when you correlate them with other measures of general math proficiency. So they're often used for both screening and for progress monitoring purposes. So just as you would have very specific directions for the single skill math computation probes, there are specific directions for the multiple skill math computation probes. First, you would say to a specific learner, the sheet on your desk contains math facts. Then you would say there are several types of problems on the sheet. Some are addition, some are subtraction, some are multiplication, and some are division. Look at each problem carefully before you answer it. Then you would say, when I say start, turn your sheet over and begin answering the problems. Start on the first problem on the left of the top row. Make sure you point to that on your example page. Then you say to the student, work across and then go to the next row. If you can't answer the problem, make an X on that problem and go to the next one. If you finish one sheet, go on to the next sheet. Are there any questions? Then pause for a few seconds to allow for questions. If there are none, then you, with your stopwatch in hand, say to the student, start, and commence timing. Now we're going to talk about math estimation measures. Math estimation measures are CBM measures that were developed and researched by Dr. Ann Fagan out of Iowa State University. Estimation measures are often used with upper elementary, middle school, and high school populations. Now, you'll learn about the you would have learned about the reliability and validity of each of these measures in an earlier module, but recall again that for each measure that you use for math, you need to carefully consider that each set of directions and also the timing varies both by age level as by measure. Now in this case, this particular task requires 3 minutes to ensure reliability of the score. So first you would say to the learner, we are going to do an estimation task using 2 pages of math problems. You will have 3 minutes to work on this activity. Your job is to answer as many problems correctly as you can in 3 minutes. Then you would say, you do not need to figure out an exact answer. It is better to skip a problem than to take too much time or make wild guesses. Then you would say, please look at each problem. If you happen to get to the end before the time is up, go back and work on any skipped problems. Then you would say, when I say begin, turn your sheets over and start working. You will have 3 minutes. Do your best work. Then you would say, ready, begin. At the time you say begin, you'd stop your stopwatch, and then at the end of 3 minutes, you would say, stop. Please put your pencils down. Now, with estimation measures, teachers often find them to be have a great deal of face validity and at least content validity related to what is considered to be overall math proficiency. However, there is a cautionary note here. They're not necessarily better at predicting overall math proficiency than multiple skill math computation problems. Now we have learned how to administer the most commonly used CBMs of math. At the early elementary level, the preschool level, there are different measures that are used, and there are different measures used at the high school level. However, most school districts are using these particular measures, both the single skill, the multiple skill, and the estimation skill probes for both screening and progress monitoring purposes. Next, the next module, you will learn how to score these curriculum-based measures of math. I hope you have time to practice and have found a volunteering student to administer a math CBM to, so that then you can learn how to score that student's work during the next module.